Welcome back to Boat Extras. Look, primer time. I know you've seen it all before, but this is part of it. It's got to be done. I've heated up my paint. Is it that one? Yeah. Heated it up. Kettle of water. Left it in there. So that gives us maximum pressure. Open the door a bit. Oh, don't you react. Are you reacting? Do you know what? I think it's reacting. There you go. There's a classic example. That's a classic example of a reaction using Rust-Oleum primer, flat down the damaged part. Maybe I should have used a barrier coat first. Where is a barrier coat? I don't think I've got high build. I could have maybe have used a primer, a filler primer. I'm annoyed because you see that's cost me a lot of work. That, yeah, it's all splitting. I'll show you what it is for future reference for yourself. Can you see it's just starting to craze there. I don't know whether it's focusing properly. I'm trying to get you the best shot. There you are, look. See, it's all right there, but it's just going on there, look. There. All the way along. Disaster has struck. Right, well, there you go. There you go. First hand. It is annoying. So, what I've got to do now is I've got to put a halt to that. I'm going to have to allow that to dry. And then I'm going to have to use I've got to find a paint that I can use. It's called a barrier coat, and it basically covers auto car people. They spray this over existing paint because they don't know what they're painting over, so they use it's called a barrier paint, I think, or something to that nature. Covers everything, and then you can continue with the paints that you want to do, the products that you want to use, and then you're safe. And perhaps, lesson learned for me, is I perhaps should have done that. So, I'm so annoyed. So anyway, I'll have to put a halt to this, but I will be back when I've got the right stuff. Right, I found some high build primer filler, or filler primer should I say. correct terminology. And I've used that, and basically what that's going to do is I can build that coat up, and I should be able to use that as a barrier, and it seems to not be reacting at the moment. I'll give you an example. If I go close in on it, can you see? It seems to have adapted okay. You can just about make out there, can't you, where the crevices were. So basically what I'll do is I'll give that another coat in a minute, and I'll let that go off tonight, and then I'll wet and dry it. I'll wet sand it with probably something like 1000s, and then I'll give it another filler primer, and hopefully that will be good to go. So we'll see what it's like. We'll see what it's like tomorrow. Anyway, enough of that. Go and have a cup of tea. Go and have your tea or your dinner or your breakfast, and I'll see you tomorrow. And welcome back to the unit, where of course yesterday we had an issue with paint reaction. So in the meantime, what I did is I came here early, forgot the camera like you do, then realised that my car needed MOTing because it was already booked in like you do, and I'm late here today. And then to top it off, I end up with another edition, and it's not a pleasant one. Somebody decided to hit my car, and I don't know who it is. So there you go. What a day. Right, so yes, what did I do? So I came back here early this morning and checked the paintwork, and as you can see, I decided to put a bit of filler in the cracks that occurred from the reaction, which was, as you know, from the last clip, and as you can see, I've managed to get this now looking respectable again. So there is no there's no reaction anymore. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint that grey, because ultimately we're going to be using I think it's called satin nickel, is it? And that colour is going to take quite a few coats, so we don't want to do that. What we want to do is just to turn it grey. So I think I can go back to the primer, which is what I used, of course, when it reacted, and we'll let that go off. I think you can see it there. We'll let that go off, and then we'll discuss another problem. Oh my God, and is it a problem? I've got no water in the kettle, so I'm going to have to probably heat this can up just a tad. So I'll talk to you while I'm heating the can up. So we've started episode 55, and then we abruptly finished episode 55. Well, we got the opening bit, and then we decided we're going to tackle the window, as you already know. I'll turn that around. Wow. Okay. That window with those with that gasket that I got from Seal Direct. it's just impossible. I can't believe how difficult it is to get it to go around that window. The corners, it just doesn't want to know. So I put an appeal out on Facebook, because the Nauticus owners are now on Facebook. They're not on the old original one. I put out an SOS, basically, help, and somebody kindly suggested that I should stick the seals in hot water, hot soapy water, and that should relieve it a bit, and then I should be able to get them into position. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that now. I know it should be on the actual episode, but I'm going to try it. John's not here, he's probably doing something else at the moment. So I think there's no harm in me trying it, so you'll get to see that. Right, let's get some paint on this thing, and hopefully we can carry on after that. There we go. See that there? Yeah. Right. Fingers crossed. No more reactions. I've had enough trouble. Somebody pranging my car. Fortunately, I have got paint. I have got some paint of that colour. So I suppose it's another job for me to do. Right, don't react. Right. We'll get the blower on that. There we go. Let that go off. Bit wet there. But you can see it's now decided it's not going to react now. There we go. So, one of my subscribers, I think he's called Ian. Hello Ian. He's soon to tackle these windows. Ian, I'm telling you, it ain't easy. And you've no doubt had a look. I definitely had a look last night. John's had a look. There is not many videos on YouTube. There's plenty of Seal Direct doing windows, and there's plenty of people doing windows that flush fit and screw into position, but I can't find one, to be perfectly honest, that has windows like this type that's got glass, an aluminium frame, and then the gasket that goes around that to install on a boat. I can't find one video that shows that shape, that type of window that goes in that aperture there. It tends to be solely perspex or glass with the gasket that then goes in, but not with an aluminium thing around it. So I'm struggling for ideas. So I'm going to get that. I've got a bucket somewhere. I don't know where that's gone. There, that bucket. I'm going to fill it full of hot water, hot soapy water, and I'm going to soak that that stuff and see whether it's pliable, because at the moment it is really tough. In fact, I'll show you what I'm on about while I'm at it with just this short piece. I'll leave you, I know you're probably getting sick with it jiggling around this thing. Let me put you up there a minute. Don't fall down, please. There we go. I don't think I can do it with just one hand, but going this, I'm not going to do it with one hand. Let me shorten this a bit. There we go. There. The problem's arising. We can just about get that to go in there, okay. And we seem to have got the 10mm right, and the 5mm not an issue, remember. That 5mm is the, there you are. So the bottom one, the 5mm, that's the bit that goes into the aluminium of the frame of the window, and the larger one, which is 10mm, that is designed to go here, because that is about 8.5, 9mm in places. So that's designed, that basically goes not that way. I'd have to turn it upside down. Hold on. It goes that way because that obviously there is for the chrome strip to go in to tighten everything up. So where I'm having difficulty, this is extremely tough stuff, is bending it around like that there without it, can you see it twisting? It naturally wants to twist and it just won't stay on. Even with a rubber mallet, it won't stay on. So I'm hoping that this hot water is going to help. So I'm going to do that. We literally gave up last night. We just thought, oh, God. I mean, we've done a lot of work on this boat, and there has been a few times when we've like scratched our heads and thought, are we ever going to be able to do this? But this, we're really thinking that. So we're desperate. If you've got any ideas, please let me know, because at this moment in time we are really struggling. Right, well, I'm going to get the water hot. I'm going to chuck that in there, and then, well, you can see what I'm going to do. See you in a minute. I just thought I'd show you, I've got a waste piece of this WR69. That's how it's meant to go on, like that. You can see from the side profile there that there is your gap and you can clearly see that that's what that's meant to take, the width of that, plus or minus. You can see there's a little tiny bit of a gap there, but I think that's within tolerance. And don't forget, once that strip goes in there, that literally does force it out wider and then squashes it up against it. That's the theory, I'm assuming. There's your 5mm, which is the gap there, 5mm on the window. And as you can see down below, I've put another piece there. There's your 5mm there. So on Seal Direct, they put the gasket on first. Obviously you have your join at the top, so then the water, this is all got to be in one piece, which is the problem bit, these areas here. Your join is going to be there, and then you seal your join on the ends. I think, well, the problem bit is, for me at the moment, is getting this this to go all the way around in one piece. That's my first obstacle. But I'm just going to try with interest to see whether I can get that window to go into those grooves, into these two pieces. That should give me an indication of how difficult this job's going to be. Excuse me, I don't know what that is. Where's my water? Anyway, so I'm going to give that a try because I need both hands and John's not here at the moment. And I'll let you know how I get on. In fact, if it goes in, you'll see it. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. So I'll give it a go. Right, well, at first glance, I would suggest that it looks good. However, if you look down there, this is the WR69 that's on the old Nauticus website as a recommendation to use. You can see it fits lovely there. It also fits really nice there. But look at the top. The web in between is too narrow. So therefore, we need something wider to take up that, because no matter how much we do this job, that is not satisfactory. It's barely touching there and there. So WR69 I think is okay, but when I say okay, the 10 and the 5 are fine, but the web is not. So we need to go back to square one, and I need to tell John about it, because that's going to delay episode 55 again. Plus we've invested £50 odd in a gasket that we can't send back because we've chopped, as you can see, chopped it. So that's now defunct. And there's no point in putting it, well, actually, is there any point in putting, yeah, I will put it in hot water because I want to try for future reference. But as you can see, I don't think that is now satisfactory at all. I mean, yes, it holds the window, but that's at the base. That's sitting nicely where it is, but that's barely touching. You could literally punch. I know it's not attached here, but imagine that's attached there and there. It would fit there, but it's obviously deeper there. You'll be able to push that window in. So there we go. Not much I can say about that. Might leave it in there. Let's move that out of the way. At least I can see what it looks like with a window in, if nothing else. Yeah, it'll look smart once we've got it working properly. Right, well, that's it, folks. I can't say any more than that. I'm going to wait for this primer to dry, and then I'm going to spray it with some top coat, and then go back to the drawing board with Seals Direct. So, see you shortly. And welcome back. You join me on the first metallic coat that's going on the grey primer. I've just sprayed that on now. So far, nothing's reacted. Famous last word with this particular frame. Give you a closer look, anyway. You can see it's not as yet. Still quite orange peely at the moment, which is fine. Early days with this coat. That seems to be good for now. Slight drip, or a spit mark, should I say. Right. So we'll let that tack off. Forgot to spray my tester. Yeah, I've got 2 blips there, but for some reason as this paint dries out it seems to sink and blends out, because I had it with the other one and it seemed to disappear, so I'm not overly bothered about that spit mark. Can you see? So there we are, we've got to that stage now. You can see there's a bit of a spit mark there, can't you? But that's where the rubber is anyway. It's got a nice even flake all the way around. So with the exception of that bit there, which looks darker, but it's mainly full of lacquer, that will sink back in. So there we have it. So it'll soon be time to put some lacquer on. You've only got a certain amount of a window with the lacquer. If you read the instructions on the back of the cans, I think anything over 20 minutes and beyond, then you try it, and then it all wrinkles up, it reacts. So you've got to get it while it's still wet, tacky. That's why we've done a... See, that's tacky now, so that will grab. So I think I'll get the lacquer out. Which lacquer did we use? Can't remember. Some paints. So this is a Rust-Oleum clear gloss, if I didn't show it before. Still, they're all Rust-Oleum products apart from the etch primer and the filler primer. We'll just check out that centre bit first, see whether there's anything goes on. Shot with the gun. Can't see any reaction there. No, I think we're good to go. go. Right. That will flatten off somewhat. It looks highly glossy at the moment because it's wet, but it will go off. It will matte down. You can see there's the two splodges. Right, so we'll leave that overnight now. Sadly, that's going to be the problem now, is we'll have to go back to the drawing board. We'll have to see if we can get a 10/5 with a deeper web. That's the bit in the middle of the gasket. That's now the most important thing. I'm going to speak to Seals Direct, I think, send the pictures. I've taken some stills and I'm going to send them over to them and let's see what they can come up with. It'll be very interesting because, as I said, the WR69 was the ones that were on the original website, and obviously people must have used those based on that information. And it would be interesting to know whether you changed your gaskets from the information from the old website, and whether it was successful or not, or whether they leak or whatever, because that clearly to me isn't going to work for me. And yet that is a 27-foot Nauticus, and the aperture is no different, I wouldn't have thought, from anybody else's boat, apart from the depth of or the width of the fiberglass and the ply that I've used. So there we go. So until then, well, I'll see you maybe tomorrow. And a warm welcome to you. It's the next day, and actually it is blustery but not raining, so I might be able to get one of the cars out of the way so I can work around the boat. But I'm still at home, and I just wanted to go through some certain things because we do have an issue with these windows and the gaskets that go around them. And may or may, I can't remember whether I discussed it on Boat Textures. We're currently trying to film the next episode that John sorts out, and we've had to come to a grinding halt because it's turning out that the WR69, which is the one that our old Nauticus Club website recommended for this particular boat that we're restoring, is turning out not to be right. So here we are. This is what I'm on about. Because I do know that there is the odd one or two of you that are currently going to be restoring your windows, so this is definitely going to be interesting for you. So there's the window on my iPad. As you can see, I've chopped some of the gasket up. So I put one. Can we increase it? So you can see I put one there and one there, just to put it sort of in the centralized in the window. So what you see there is, in fact, Seal Direct under the Clayton Wright section, and it's WR69, and there you are. You can clearly see those are the dimensions. Now, I did mention to you that the web is the most important part of this whole exercise, because you can certainly find what the depth of the product that you're putting in, i.e. the windows. In your case, in our case, it's the aluminium bit that goes in that bit, and we know it's 5mm, so that will naturally fit in there. This we had a bit of an issue with, but we decided on the 10 because that's what it said on the website, that maybe that's the one that you would use. And there was nothing on the old website to say that some people had tried it and failed, and there wasn't anybody to say that there was some people that tried it and it was successful. They just recommended this. So I've been in touch with Seals Direct, and you know, they are extremely quick and they are very informative, and I emailed them some pictures, the pictures that I'm showing you now, not necessarily that one, but I showed them that one there, which you can see, that's obviously the base of it. You can clearly see that the window, the weight of the window is sitting in on it heavily, and it's fitting very, very nicely, as you can see. So it's the top bit that's the problem. As you can see there, the one that's recommended, it's barely touching up there, and there's a big gap there and there. So they've said that it's quite unusual for Seals Direct has come back to me and said it is unusual that the web size of that isn't enough, which is what that one is, to cover what you need, and you're going to have to try and go for the WR70, which is 11.5mm. So they seem to think that that would work, because as I've just said to you, I sent them these pictures over, and they've come back to me and they agree that it isn't the correct size. So I can show you the invoice actually of what I have ordered. Obviously there is a glasses case in the way, but that's just to hide my personal address. But you can see there clearly that's how much it was. It was £29.46. It includes delivery, because I think it's under a certain value. So we've just got to wait for that to come through, and we'll take it from there. They are very quick, mind. I know it's on I think it's a Friday today, so whether I'll get it tomorrow or not, I don't actually know. So I'll make my way over to the unit, and we'll see how that paint that we did yesterday, let's see how glossy it's turned out. I think those little nibs, you remember, that was underneath the lacquer, I think that will all have toned down a bit. So we'll head over there, and we'll see what we need to do. So stay tuned. Right, welcome back to the warehouse. So let's have a look at the job. There we are. But I've actually got the light this time on top of the GoPro, so there we are. And you can see. So yeah, it's remained pretty glossy, that. Very happy with the metallics, nice and even, as I said to you before. We still have got those are still visible, those two little things there. But I think I'll be able to flat them out, in all fairness. I can focus. So there we have it. Right, So I think I could probably demask that window now, because the underside of it, I better just check the underside of it. In fact, I'll do that now. Just bear with me a second. Flick it over. Yeah, I think it's basically just got a bit of overspray on it. I'll just go over with some compound just to see whether... It's very difficult to tell whether it's got lacquer on it. See, I can't lacquer. That's the thing about... Oh, you're looking at me. That's the thing about this stuff. That is now dry, so even if that was just paint on its own, I couldn't just whack the lacquer over that now. Because it would really react, as did the primer on it. So I'm going to do a bit of compounding and see if it comes up. But I'm going to see if that window is... I'm going to class that as done. So there we are. I'll demask it, and I'll do a bit of cleaning on it, and I'll see you shortly. Right, same procedure. That I'm going to now leave there in my car, because with the lid shut, with it being a warm day, sunny day, it'll give it a chance to cure, because it's dry but not dry enough, certainly not dry enough to be installed on the boat. So it still needs quite a bit of curing time. In the meantime, I'm going to crack on with its sister or brother that goes on the opposite side of the front, which is this one. And as you can see, it is still in its primer stage, dating back maybe 3 or 4 years ago. There is the odd little tiny bit coming out there, showing through silver. So I am going to do a seal coat first, and then go from there. And I took the masking off, and because I'm using blue tape, top tip, the actual piece that I took off stays intact, and you can use, it's still very tacky, it comes off really well. You can obviously use that as a means of masking off your next piece, because it's the same size. So there we go. Right, I will crack on with that. You know what the dance is with the other one, so I'll clean this up, give it a spray, and then we'll take it from there. So see you when I've finished it. Right, I've taken the liberty of saving you a long drawn out session. So I primed it, and then I've top coated it, and I've lacquered it. So you're going to see the final article. There you go. So I'm going to leave that now to dry overnight. Well, it'll need to be more than overnight, to be perfectly honest. The others are over here. They're all good. Left them there. That one and that one. So really now we've just got to wait for the... well, I need to get some etching primer, to be perfectly honest. So I need to get that. But we're waiting now for the gasket, the new gasket, because that one is not correct. As it's now transpires. We're waiting for a WR70 to arrive, and then we can crack on with the main video and look like we've got some work done. But it's even thicker, this next one, so how we're going to get it around those corners, I don't know. But you know, I've got the bucket over there, we'll heat it up and we'll see how we go. That's how it is. We've got to do it, come what may. So or I get a professional in to come and fit it. That might be the last resort. Right, so until next time, I'll see you wherever. And a good morning, good afternoon, or a good evening. As you can see, I'm not in the right attire to do some work, but as Tom pointed out, one of my subscribers, yesterday evening, he quite rightly pointed out that where the gas bottle, talking gas bottle box, and where I thought it was going to go, in fact, where it was originally, back when I bought the boat, he pointed out that it wouldn't pass the gas certification because the outlet of the box, where the pipe will go, is going to go higher than where the gas bottle is going to be sat. And of course, you know what? It was so bloody obvious, wasn't it? Gas is heavier than air. So I've now got to figure out where it originally was, and I could have sworn it was where it is now. Now, whether the previous owner decided that that was the best place for it, and for whatever reason took the gas out and the box for when it was certificated and then put it back, I don't know. That seems to be a bit of a fool's trick, to be honest. But, you know, he could have thought, well, it's outside, it's not inside, so it should be okay. But I'm back here at the unit because Tom said to me that it wasn't going to be satisfactory the way it was, and I couldn't leave it until I had another look. So that is why I'm here. But of course we can also have a little ganders at the, I'll put the light on this top of this GoPro. I've got the light now, of course. I will just check this window, see how that's looking. And apart from a little bit of a black fleck for some reason, that's looking rather nice, I would say. It hasn't lost its luster, it's dry. So I'm very pleased with that. Apart from, there's a bit of a, is there something there? Oh, I'm picking. There's plenty of marks on this boat, so it's not going to affect it that much. So as you can see there, it's not a bad finish, that. I'm happy with that. So we can leave that. So the next trick is, or the next thing I need to look at, is the side of the boat. Because originally, the gas bottle, oh, better move this thing, otherwise I'm going to be painting again, aren't I? Let me put that on that piece of carpet and then prop it up without damaging it. There. No, that's not going to work. I can see that. Stay. Right. Here we are. So what holes have we got in the side of the boat? That was the one I thought would be the one for the gas bottle. But imagine the gas bottle, the bottom of the gas bottle box would have to be higher than the hole itself. I'm guessing that the water level, as I've already explained, originally the water line on this boat at the back was at least up to there. So this was submerged, it was on an angle, and as you obviously progressed along the boat, this then became above the water line, and it was roughly about there. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do, because if that box was any higher, then it's going to interfere with where we sit, obviously. And that is, that one parallel, that one is slightly higher. I don't know whether that might have been for the gas. Anyway, or there's one little tiny one there as well. There's a vent, but I think that's just purely ventilation for general engine heat, because there's one at the other side of the boat. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go aboard and suss out what we're going to do. So there we go. I'm going to try and get on this boat and get off this boat without making a mess of myself, because I'm not in the right gear. Right, I'll see you aboard. Are we on? Right, so as you can see, that's where originally I thought, great. Well, actually that's the original place it used to be. If anything, I thought it was a little bit further away, being honest. Now, that is the closest area for the exit of any gas leak. So one would assume, as Tom quite rightly points out, that really the gas bottle should in fact be that height there. Like so. So could it be possible to put the gas bottle box there? Will that go any further back? Because there's obviously going to be the backrest, as you know, you Nauticus people. It fits inside there and comes down, and then the seating comes across here. I can't remember how far the seating goes. The seating actually, where is the seating? I think, God, I haven't looked at their seating for 10 years. I think it's up there somewhere. Oh, it could be under that cover there, because all the new interiors under there. It could be under there. I can see some seating there, which obviously I think fits along here from memory. So looking at the cushions themselves, they don't go all the way to the back, do they? So I don't know. Maybe the box needs to go there. And would that be enough of a fall to go in there? Tom, maybe you could answer that. If I give you a level, looking at the height, I think it's just enough. It doesn't need to be much, does it? I suppose it's like anything waterways. As long as it's above, as long as it's exiting above the below point, I suppose that's going to be okay. But begs the question, how do you, unless I put it on a rail, that might be a point. Maybe we could attach it securely to the, maybe it could be attached at the back, and then when required, providing there is enough flexible pipe, maybe that could be then slid forward to change the bottle and then slid back into position. Or we move it. Now it could go over here in this area. There is an exit there, but I think that's too high. I did see another hole somewhere that, what's that one? That could have gone to the fridge actually, maybe. There was another one. Where's the other hole? Oh, I'm staring at the damn thing. It's there. Maybe, but you see from here, that's where the fridge lived. And the carcass for that fridge, is the original one, is there. And I definitely need a fridge, and there's no chance of putting a fridge in this area personally, because I think unless it goes inside there, a fridge maybe, I don't know. I haven't really thought that far, but we need a bit of storage in the boat anyway. I still fancy the idea of having a fridge here because I can get a half decent sized one, you know, maybe a not the generic small one, but a 3/4 one, a bit similar size to possibly the cooker, maybe slightly less in size. I know they are available, but maybe it could go there. But having said that, where does the gas bottle go? I can't see it going there because there used to be a step there, and I think that would interfere with it. So I can now see why you asked originally where I'm going to put the gas, because you're obviously way ahead of what I was thinking, and I'm thinking maybe some sort of idea would be to leave it where it, put it there, and have some sort of mechanism or whatever where I could slide it out, change, and slide it back in again. So there we have it. Sorry there's no work, but these things, you know, this is what it's all about. And it's people like you that help me out, because, you know, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. I help you by giving you ideas on the boat. Not that I'm a professional, but you give me important information, just like Tom has just done. And also I'm hoping that you can give me other ideas on the other things that I'm wanting to do, like, for example, put the fridge there, etc. Make this a really nice place to sit at an evening. And panelling, you know, I've still got some ideas of some nice tongue and groove all the way around, and maybe shape it into where all the seating area is. So yeah, there's loads of stuff to do, loads of exciting things to do. I'm not bored of it yet, but I'm just waiting for the gasket for that window to come, and then we can crack on with them. They're the ones that are causing me enough stress at the moment, getting those windows in, and as soon as that's done, I'm going to be a proper happy guy. So with that said, thank you very much for watching once again. And stay tuned, because I'm sure I'll be back to do some more work. Have a good weekend. Just before I go, I just wanted to show you, this is the first time I've seen it from the inside. This is the problem I've got with the window. So they do look nice, actually, in all fairness, now that they're all painted up. This one's a bit grubby on this side at the moment, but obviously dirty fingers. But can you see, this is the one that was recommended on the old Nauticus Club site. This is the WR69, and the issue we've got, and now that Seal Direct has had a look at the pictures closely, you can see that it's barely holding it in the correct position there. So I've had to opt for, and they agree as well, that maybe WR70, which is the slightly wider one in the web, and the web, don't forget, is the central section there. This, I think, is about 9 or 10 mil gap, and I've gone for the 11.5. So that, together with that, that'll move the window up slightly, and hopefully that will fit. But it's the fitting of it that's the problem. But anyway, I'm going to rejoice with the fact that there's half a window in there. It does look quite nice. I'm very pleased with it. It does look, it's going to look good. It really is. I'm excited because I can see the end of the road for this restoration. So there we go. Oh, I just looked. I need to wire that thing in as well. There's always something to do. Anyway, I'll leave you in peace. Go and enjoy yourselves, and I will see you back very soon. This is quite funny. Look at this. Anybody know what that is? That is a very heavy piece of cast iron that probably was a piano. And I think that some, what do they call them? Some people that go around collecting scrap metal, that's right. I think somebody's been here, just a hunch, I think somebody's been here to try and lift it. I think there could be an A&E this weekend, because there's definitely a hernia going on. I tried to lift it. Say no more.